What is up, everybody? We don't have any time to spare. We have to talk about how to cop these box logo tees that are coming out Thursday. Shout out to Drops by Jay for, confirming to us that they are dropping this Thursday. I think we were all disappointed when we woke up and saw Supreme had posted a Fox collaboration because no one really gives a shit about that. I'm sorry if you do, but we have a lot to talk about in this video. So let's just start with a big overview of box logos. You're going to want to go for size medium and large. I don't know why those are always the last to sell out, but historically they are. If you're a size smaller XL, they're going to be significantly harder to cop, but it's not impossible. I've seen people do it before. Shout out to Boone last winter who got the bandana box logo that was small. I still have no idea how he did it, but he pretty much proved that anybody can cop a small if you're fast enough and you don't get card decline. But again, if you want to have the best odds, especially if you're a small, I would just go for a size medium and then tailor it or shrink it down in the dryer to your liking. Especially if you're keeping it for the personal and you're not interested in resale. That is probably the best way to secure one for the personal. Looking at colorways, we're really not sure which one's going to sell out fast. So my next tip is just going to be to check the EU sellout times the morning of. See what colorways and sizes are selling out the fastest and avoid those. Usually the sellout times in the EU are indicative of what the sellout times in the US are going to be. If you're in the EU though and you're that guinea pig, my advice is just to go after the most bland colors or the ones that don't really stick out. If I'm looking at the colorways right now, I would avoid the red on white and the red on gray box logos. Those are OG designs, and so those are going to sell out the fastest and be the most sought after. Just look at the tees, I think from the 20th or 25th anniversary. Those are going for stupid amounts of money right now just because they're that OG colorway. The other big colorways to avoid would probably be purple, green, and maybe black. The other colorways like red, navy, orange, and yellow, I think those are going to be less hyped. Definitely still hyped because it's a box logo, but I think those will be easier to obtain than some of the other colorways. But that's just my personal opinion. Again, these will likely be gone in under 30 to 40 seconds. So on drop day, it's going to be all about speed. And so to help you with that, I have a bunch of tips laid out right now. So if you're on a desktop, you're going to want to have some kind of autofill on your browser. Now, I always use Google Chrome and the Chrome autofill service. I don't use any other extensions because they always card decline for me. They're too fast. You don't want to be too fast when you're manually checking out because then Supreme will think you're a bot for whatever reason. I have no idea why. So I like to try and manually input as many things as I can while, still being fast so that I don't miss those items. So to set up the autofill, you're going to want to go to your Chrome settings and you do that by just going to these three dots in the top right corner and hitting settings. I'm already on the page, so obviously it's not going to take me anywhere. You're going to want to set up payment methods first, and you just would add a credit card, fill in your actual information. I'm just using test information for right now. I don't think this is an actual credit card number. If it is, I'm sorry. Next, you're going to want to fill out an address. Again, you would just hit add, fill out all your information. You don't need organization, but you do need everything else. Here is an example of what it might look like. So after that, you're pretty much already set up to check out on Supreme. So let's say you have your item in your cart. You would go to checkout now, and you'll want to click on one of these boxes. Now, I always click on name, and you'll see it pop up. I think you can click anywhere. Yeah. And it'll show up. Can you click on address? No. So you'll hit wherever, fill out that initial information. And one thing I've noticed is that Supreme, for whatever reason now, doesn't fill out this address for you. So what you can do is just type it in somewhere else and just copy it, Control C, and then you can just speed up your checkout by pasting it in and you'll be good to go. For the credit card, there is an option to use PayPal. However, I've heard that it's significantly slower, so I would just stick to your credit card information. Again, this is achieved by using autofill. You just click on the number box and it'll fill it out for you. For the CVV, it's not going to fill that for you, and I would recommend typing this part in just so you have some keystrokes on the website and Supreme doesn't think you're a bot. However, it doesn't always guarantee you that you're not going to get card declined. And then lastly, you'll hit this terms and conditions box. Don't forget that. It's very easy to, blaze through the checkout and miss over that, but you have to hit that box in order to check out. So if you want to get multiple items on drop day, I would recommend opening up one of these private windows. Make sure you close out all the dirty stuff before you do this. But what this will allow you to do is pretty much check out like normally on a separate user, and it won't interfere with what's in your cart right now. So let's say, what can I even get that's in stock? Let's say this is checking out right. I can add these pants to my cart and check out, and it won't affect whatever's going on over here at all. And the nice thing is, since I'm in a private window under the same user, it has all that autofill information already filled out, so I can do another quick checkout. I highly recommend this. I did this during week 1 when I went for the pink camo deck and the cards, and then I went back and got some t-shirts and a bag. I really recommend doing this. I've seen some people say that like you can merge orders when you do this, and it can get you banned, but that's personally never happened to me. If you want to be extra safe, you can do it on another browser like Firefox or something, but you should be fine just doing private windows like this. Other tips and tricks I have are to create bookmarks of certain checkpoints on the page. So you definitely want to have one for checkout, especially if you add it to the cart, but you can't like get to that checkout screen. You can just go to your cart and then hit checkout now. It's a little bit faster and might get you through. Another thing you're going to want to add is probably the new section of the Supreme website. If you can't get in, you can probably just try and spam this and hopefully it will let you in. They're probably going to load, all the items will definitely load under this new tab. There is usually a t-shirts tab, but because we don't really have any of the tees, we just have these higher quality shirts. There actually isn't a t-shirt tab on the webpage right now, but there will be on drop day. However, I would just recommend going through the new tab. You'll likely be able to see all the box logos without having to scroll, so it shouldn't slow you down whatsoever. Another thing I recommend is having the shop page saved. Sometimes you won't be able to load in this, but it will load on this like scrolling page right here. And what you can do is, instead of clicking like you normally would left click, what I recommend doing is middle mousing it, or just whatever key you have to open up in a new tab. So let's say I want to get this. It's a little bit faster, especially if you want to get multiple items. So let's say I want to get these 3 items in my cart. I can middle mouse them and you'll see they open up a tab, and I can just go to town, adding each item to my cart, and then I'm ready to check out. However, on box logo week, you're likely just going to be going for the single cart on the box logo. At least that's what I would recommend. And then lastly, you're going to want to follow a restock monitor, whether it's through Supreme Community. You can just go to their website right here, and they have restocks right there for US. If you're not in like a paid Discord group where it's constantly pinging, this can get the job done. It'll be a little bit slower, but it never hurts to try. 2 things I forgot to mention there. If you get card decline when you're trying to check out, so right after you hit process payment, you get the card decline screen. I really hate when that happens, but leave the screen there. Don't touch it. Sometimes that screen will turn into an actual checkout, so it doesn't hurt to just leave it there and just go into another browser like I showed and try to check out whatever else that you need. I've had multiple instances where an item sold out, but then a few minutes later, for whatever reason, I actually got the confirmation email and a charge. So always keep your hopes up. You never know what's going to happen. My second tip of advice is, if it sells out and it's still in your cart, leave that page open. What you can do is, if it's in your cart already, you can just spam the checkout now button, and you could get lucky, and right when it restocks, it'll take you directly to the checkout page, and you won't have to worry about adding it to your cart because it's already in there. I've done that with the North Face cargo jacket, and I'm pretty sure that's how I was able to get this. I pretty much sold out, but I just kept spamming that checkout button until it randomly restocked and it allowed me to check out. So let's talk a little bit about botting. If you want to try it out this week, I would recommend just renting one. Don't go out and spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on a bot that you don't know much about and you don't know how much success you're going to have. Renting is so much cheaper. For example, this week I'm renting out Velox, which is like $40 for the entire week, so I can run for restocks and whatnot. And they're one of the best performing Supreme bots this season. If you have more money to spend, then I would go for Mech instead of Velox. They absolutely destroyed the Murakami box logo release, and I think the Bandana box logo release too. They're just the king of Supreme bots right now. And honestly, I think if you do rent out that bot, you will hit on at least one box logo. I did my rental through Tidal Marketplace. I don't know if they're going to have any rental copies available now that they've officially announced box logos this week. But it doesn't hurt to try. I would recommend going through there, though. It was a pretty smooth transaction, and for the price, I don't think you're going to be able to get it cheaper anywhere else. If you're interested in the iOS scene of botting, you can't go wrong with SwiftSole. I made a whole video on it, so definitely check that video out if you're interested in it. It did flop last week with the Smurf skate decks, but I did hit with the Yamamoto sweater, so you never know. It might cook these box logos this week. We'll just have to wait and see. One thing I want to talk about is how many cards can you use with a task or when you're checking out on Supreme. I get this question all the time, and the general rule of thumb is you get one credit card, one address per checkout. You can go around this. If you have multiple cards and you want to ship to the same address, you have to jig your address and pretty much the whole checkout profile. When I say jigged address, I mean that you're changing the abbreviation. So instead of having street, you might use ST. You can also just add like a random apartment number if you live at a house. So like right now I'm at a house, I'm not in an apartment, but sometimes I'll add like apartment 1 or apartment 3 to the address line on Supreme, just so it looks like a completely different address. Another thing you can do is just add random letters at the beginning and at the end of the address. I've heard that you can do 2 tasks per card as long as you jig the address, but you always risk getting your card banned or your address banned, so I would just stick to 1 task. So I hope this video was informative, and I hope that everyone tries and cooks this Thursday. If you have any more questions regarding how to copy these box logos or how to increase your chances, definitely leave a comment down below. However, at the end of the day, it's really just going to come down to luck and whether like Supreme's site is on your side. So if you take the L, there's always another drop to look forward to. I mean, we still have the North Face and the box logo hoodies to look forward to this season. So even if you take an L on Thursday, there are better things to look forward to. But anyways, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you on Thursday.